It's priced like a microbrand but manually aged like a grocery wine. This seemingly watch pirate themed watch is actually hiding something that's pretty unique. When you begin in watch collecting, one of the first things that you will notice is that many collectors shy away from faux patina or false patina or manufactured vintage aesthetics. Now, that may be changing now with the current generation that's buying watches, but still, there's a little bit of a stigma towards that. Now, it's one thing to replicate a vintage aesthetic, and it's another to actually intentionally damage a watch to make it look like it's worn out. Is it something that you're going to welcome? And that's exactly the question that we want to answer with this out of order Quaranta. And what you'll find out in this review is that it not only looks so unique and it's something that you cannot find anywhere else, but at the same time, you could find it somewhere else. Now, let me explain. The idea of watches having personality is a common trope that's the fallback of many aspiring reviewers, influencers, and bloggers. Oh, that's a fun watch, full of personality. I'm actually guilty of this before, and I must admit that whenever I slap this word personality on a watch, I tend to end the statement there, expecting that the audience would understand the meaning of the term. But then the argument kind of falls apart rather quickly with the moment that you ask, what kind of personality does it have? Then let's allow the watch to speak for itself. Notice how muted that bezel sounds and the fact that it also turns both ways, despite the fact that it seemingly shouldn't. It's as if the watch is telling us that it's broken. I guarantee you that it's actually in full working capacity, as the movement inside seems to be working just fine. So what personality is this watch trying to display? In short, it's a deceptively capable watch with its worn-out aesthetics and hint of individuality. Okay, maybe that's still a little too vague for you, then let's examine it closer. It's capable with its usual threaded crown for a decent 100-meter water resistance and that familiar Seiko style clasp that's the relic of decades past. Like it or not, it actually works here in context because it's a watch that's trying to look like an old beaten down timepiece. It even has these old school spring bars, so you will definitely need a tool to remove it. Now, however you use that tool is up to you, but once you have dislodged these spring bars, you'll see how capable this Quaranta is. As a bare case, it feels as familiar as could be with this usual 40mm case diameter and that aluminum bezel. It's the quintessential dive watch with a little twist. What could take it out of the ordinary is a good sailcloth strap from Artem. At this point, Artem should just sponsor the channel, but even without that loot, Artem truly elevates any watch it latches onto. Even if you don't believe me, you could just check out what's in front of your screen and you can't deny the texture that just makes a world of difference. The biggest reason for this watch's divisiveness is the surface-treated hardware. With the bracelet gone, that case doesn't look as tarnished as it should be. Another great way is to highlight the case and bezel by choosing a more muted strap tone. This gray variant with a loopless configuration lends a touch of elegance to this tool watch by hiding the extra strap underneath your wrist instead of being kept outside. If it's too classy for you, then Artem's NATO has got you covered with one of the only watches that could pull off this tri-colored band. This just feels like it's been through a colorful journey with you as Indiana Jones' baggage boy from Abercrombie & Finch. So when it comes to fashion, utility, and versatility, this Quaranta more than works for most occasions. There's an argument to be made that you could actually save up on your watch purchases by simply buying more straps, and this diver from Out of Order can certainly make a great case for that. Earlier, I mentioned that this watch offers something that you can't find anywhere else, and that is this unique, manually applied surface treatment. See, it's very similar to my Zelos titanium swordfish. The bezel of this Zelos is heat-treated individually as well. No two in the world is alike. The same can be found here with the Quaranta that has this unique chemically treated surface all over the watch and bracelet. Because of this unique application, this still emits this seeming burnt out tone that transitions from many different shades of blue. If you're looking for a bit of artisan handcraft, it's surprisingly found in this out-of-order Quaranta. Yes, it does look like it's worn out from afar, but not so much that it looks like you came out of a burning car like John Wick. Well, I bet you'd want to feel like you're a land-loving swashbuckler like Mr. Wick, but with this Quaranta, you can now at the very least dress up as the next affordable thing. Subscribers of the channel were paying attention when I unboxed this watch a while back, and here's what they have to say about the Quaranta. SHJ2000 says, damage from Italy, LOL. Out of Order has a great sense of humor. I want to know more. Well, here you go. Just watch this video. John Kowalski has a lot to say as usual, but I'm not gonna read all of his comment, otherwise we'll be here till tomorrow. And I'm simply gonna paraphrase what he said. And he said that the crown might be too wobbly because it extends far too much from the case, and that magnifying glass is still something that he doesn't like because they tend to use magnifying mineral crystals rather than sapphire crystals on them. But despite such nitpicks, he still likes the way it looks because it reminds him of his Bostock with a really good blue dial itself. And finally, Wayne Sellers, love the username, remarks also that the magnifying glass is not appropriate for all respectable watch buyers, such as myself. Good call. And I agree, certainly this blue dial is the main attraction of the piece. It's also got this nice shade of color all around the bezel, with its edges seemingly scratched away through wear and age. From the side, the case is decorated with a nice tarnished pattern. I have handled a whole heat-treated case before, but not a surface-treated case and bracelet like this. This has an unusual mixture of bronze and blue metallic sheen that really doesn't look like damage at all. It feels more organic and natural than what it's supposed to be. There's a seeming welcome approachability to this watch because of this surface treatment, and without it, well, it would just look like another generic Seiko alternative. I mean, look at this golden skin underneath the bracelet. It's very different to the blue hue from the top side. I don't need to grasp for things to like because there's enough things to like in this watch, especially for the price that you're paying for. It's a humorous yet artfully executed watch for just under $500. And I think that's a great value compared to what most others would offer in the same market share. It's really about aesthetics and presentation for this Quaranta. Don't expect exceptional specs with this kind of product focus. You'll definitely focus also on that dial with the Fume blue color. It's nice and pleasant to the eyes, and it sorta matches the personality of the watch. This is then accented with a logo that's very much oversized for what I usually like. So I guess that's a soft way of me saying that I don't like it. Then there's this unusual mix of sandwich-style markers and applied quarter markers. This shouldn't work. Looking from this angle, it's actually arresting to me. But then, I see what's on the readout. Right, now I understand. Pizza with pineapple is not pizza. Please treat me bad. Out of order. All of these amount to a watch that's intentionally made not to be taken seriously. For you to buy into this watch, you really need to accept or even lead into the basic premise of this light-hearted timepiece, that it doesn't quite cross that line towards slapstick humor, but it's still humorous nonetheless. Aside from that, you're still getting a decent dive watch. As far as brands go, you'll have to note that Out of Order has already celebrated its 10 years of operation and has been consistently releasing collections that continues to be quirky and funny in tone. Because sometimes you don't have to take the hobby too seriously, and even if you did, there's a unique Quaranta that's waiting just for you. For almost 3 years now, I've been adopting this watch pirate persona, and I think the Out of Order Quaranta is the most appropriate watch pirate watch for me because it not only looks disheveled and grisly and gnarly because of the many different aspects, especially of that tarnishing of the case, but at the same time, it's actually quite capable. Now, I'm not saying that I'm quite capable, but you can take it whatever I said there. But this Quaranta is actually a very nice watch and very unique because not all of tarnishing or this aging process is the same. So there's a certain uniqueness to it that is also hand applied, sort of like Zelos, but without the Zelos price of those hand torch Damascus variants that we have, and that very nice. Um, it's not prism, it's like kind of pearlescence. There you go. There, that iridescence and that pearlescence on the case is very unique and could actually pass off as a very nice dark toned um, watch. So, what do you think? Would you entertain such a watch? I anticipate. Here's the thing. Here's my hot take. I don't think that many people would buy into this kind of watch. But when it comes to personality, it has everything in spades. Because it's not only trying to be aged, but it's also trying to be funny with all of the many different quirks and especially that pineapple pizza. I totally agree with that. Pizza with pineapple is not pizza at all. So what do you think about pizzas? Are they actually pizzas if they have pineapple? Or are you going to buy one of these out of order Quarantas, even if they look tarnished and specifically made for watch pirates like me?